So yeah, we're going to play a bit of the junkyard scene.
Yes,
so
in
it's
episode
we love the junkyard scene because a lot of different elements, but the first one I think is the environment. I think the environment artists have made something incredible here.
For Life is Strange, we really wanted to have a stylized rendering. We didn't want it to be realistic, or so every texture has been hand painted to give this impressionistic feeling. And I think in the junkyard it's really interesting because there is so many details that's where this kind of simpler texture are working well. Because if this scene was overly detailed with cracks in the rust and everything, it would become really noisy to look at. We did a lot of work on the lighting effects and the atmosphere, so it was really important for us to capture this morning feeling with very cold colors in the fog, but a slightly warm sun that just bring some soft and warm feeling to the scene.
This scene is also a good example of what we want to do in terms of environmental storytelling. We've got a lot of different objects who are there and who has their own story. And
Okay, let's do this. Can you find 5 bottles while I prep the shooting range?
Beer and guns? Nice combo.
You can handle it. Now go find us 5 bottles.
This is one of the
pretty
best
please.
puzzles of the game, I think.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's mostly the final bottle that was really hard to find, and we did a mistake on it because it was maybe too well hidden. Our goal for this was just to allow the player to push the player to visit the place while looking for those bottles, because there is a lot of interesting things to discover. Basically, the junkyard is where Chloe brought Max to try her power, but it's also where Chloe and Rachel were hanging out together before Rachel disappeared. So this place here was this small hideout for Chloe and Rachel, and we tried a lot of what we did in the whole game with the environmental storytelling can be seen here, because there is a lot of everything that we really like to tell with the environment. It's a good way to, of course, to show more to the player. So it's
also to give rewards to the player who want to know more about the characters and who is curious. Because you can do this whole scene without looking at every details, but
there is some hidden stuff. This one is harder to find. I think that not every player find it. And this is a big letter that Rachel wanted to write to Chloe and maybe never gave it to her. In Life is Strange, we really tried to put a lot of attentions to the details. So we have a lot of various levels of things, and if you look around, you can find some really small details that are useless to the main story, but interesting.
Actually, we start to play with that, putting more and more things in corner, in dark area, to see if the player can spot it or not. And usually they did.
They noticed things that we thought they could not notice, like on a shirt we have letters that when you put in the right order, it says "no fucks given," and they noticed.
I don't know about this.
Are you afraid of getting in trouble? Oh, boo-hoo, Max is afraid. I know you can handle this, and I'm here to guide you. Make me proud, sister.
Life is Strange is a game about choice and consequences. So we have a lot of choice you can make in the game, which will have consequences later on in the same episode or in the other episode. And there is one big choice in this scene, right, that will happen, for example.
Yeah, the idea for each choice is really to have not easy choice to take, even if it's not life or and death choice, like you could have in other game, or it's more everyday life choices. The important is really to make your own and to decide to live with it. So that's why with max power, it's of course more difficult, because you can try a choice. You're not sure, you're going to rewind and you're going to make the other one, but the important is if you want to continue and to move on, you have to keep on one and live with the consequence. So this is in this choice in particular. What do you want to do, Michel? The first one.
I don't think I would shoot a guy anyway, so I would say
we won't shoot.
I won't shoot.
So you can see directly some consequence. It means that you don't have gun anymore because Frank is going to take it. Chloe will be pissed off
you can of course rewind and try the other one. But something that's really interesting, because it was a lot of work at the beginning, because we were thinking that if you have the rewind, does it not completely destroy the fact that you are making choices? And actually, we've seen that players are really hesitating. We've watched some Let's Play video, and we've seen players just, even if they knew that they could go back, they were hesitating so much when they make a choice. I think it's interesting.
Here will be out of the campus for the first time for the
Yes.
player. So this is the first time the player will be able to use his power when he wants. He can do before, but there was no so many interaction and puzzles. Here we really wanted to have a lot of different things to do, talk with people, use the power just to see fun stuff.
But we use this kind of environment for the players who like to take their time and just to talk to characters, to look around. It really gives a sense of presence to Max, to the world.
The important aspect of the game is really to give some rewards to the player who want to do that and to want to take his time. So with this kind of sequences, for example, we give what we call a reward, but in fact it's just new element of the game. For example, here you will have new layer of music. You can hear some new layer of music. You will have all those camera shots that you can't have inside the classic walkthrough and classic gameplay in third person. So this kind of beautiful shots you have only because you have chosen to take your time and to sit on the fountain. So the music, the shots, and of course the voiceover of Max also at the beginning. We hear what Max is thinking just here. So this kind of rewards will push, we think, the player to do that again and again. So this is really something we wanted to have.
In this game, it's always feeling a bit like what Max is feeling, and it was we really wanted to focus on those moments. It was really capturing the moment when you can really take your time to reflect on yourself, and that's what Max is doing in those scenes. That's something that not a lot of games are doing, to let the player take his time, because in a lot of games it's just like you need to go forward, you need to go to this checkpoint, you need to do this and this.
Since the beginning, we wanted the rewind to be a tool that the player can use when he wants, where he wants. It won't be scripted rewind sequence, for example. On a technical point of view, you have to record all the different things that happens in the scene.
Since you can rewind time, you can basically be at any part of the scene at any moment you like. Designing puzzles with the rewind was very hard. When you think it's done, you think you've seen everything about it, you think the situation is in place and is going to be working well. There's always this tiny little thing that's fucking it up.
Those elements are not really deterministic, so when you rewind, you're not sure that you will be able to restore the particle system in the same state.
Seriously, do not forget I need those papers before tonight. Like now. Thanks, Sherry.
And this is the dormitories. This is also something that was interesting for us, is to talk about dorm life. So we wanted to use this setting because we can really talk about social issues, like the girls have their room. Do you really like the people who live next to you? How the relationship are working inside the dormitories? Like right now, it's interesting if you have different music that can come from the different rooms. It's a really interesting setting to set up a lot of characters easily.
Here the idea is really to again have this believable universe of the students. We have to focus on what we want to tell and what we want to develop.
In each episode, Alyssa is getting hit or in danger by something, and you can decide or not to use the rewind power to warn her and to get her out of trouble.
And again, I think it's links to also the Kate story and this kind of stuff. It's not just here to have fun. It's also to talk about those difficulties you can have when you could be someone like Alyssa and having this kind of problems.
And it's always a way to find the little detail and little elements that will bring more to the characters, how we are defining them, without sometimes telling too much.
So this is the same actress as Chloe.
Yeah,
the two main actresses who are playing Max and Chloe did also the other students, and so you can there is some of Chloe inside each one of them. You can see Max and Chloe here. The body animation is done in motion capture on this project. We've done a lot of shooting in motion capture with French companies. The two main, so Max and Chloe, like for the voice actor, in fact, they are always played by the same actress, Serena and Gabrielle. So all the body language and the body animation you will see in the game are done by them. And so in each scene we discuss about the scene with them, and they add some. Both of them, they have given something to the character, even for Max, because Serena was a bit shy at the beginning of the project, and at the end of the project she was different, and we can see the evolution of Max inside her acting. So
Who did you tell?
The principal. But he didn't seem to believe me.
The principal? Are you still 12? That drunk jackass only cares about cash for Blackwell Academy. Don't trust him.
I didn't mention you at all.
this is the first time we will really see the Max universe by discovering a room. So let's go inside.
It was a really important scene for us because you're playing as Max in the game, so you already start to know some about her with what happened before in episode 1. But when you enter her room, it's really her universe. It's everything in this room should describe her, who she is, why she is like this, and speak a bit more about her past.
There's quite a lot in this room, in fact, compared to the... Because we tried, I think, episode after episode also to focus on different things, and we can't put too many objects in a room.
If you want to play a character for 5 episodes, you need to invest in this character, and all those kind of details and were really important to make a connection between the player and Max, to learn a bit more about what she experienced before, and maybe also why she is how she is right now. Something we really wanted to have with Max's room is also to have a great contrast between Max and Chloe. So it was really important to have those two characters. Max and Chloe are really different. They are quite opposite at the beginning of the story. So we wanted that her personality and also her universe, her rooms reflect that. And we took for Max this sort of softer colors. We have the pink in, I think our bed cover is really soft. You have the small cushions with the flowers, the teddy bear.
We've got a lot of different environments in the game, but we wanted really to be able to revisit the environments and to have other scenes taking place in the same environments, but telling different stories and telling different sequences. So, for example, in this room, when you go back here in the house, in the alternate reality, we will find an empty room of an empty Chloe room, and you have been here so many times before the episode 4 with Chloe, having fun with Chloe, listening to music. Going back here without anything, you will directly see what you've lost and what this another reality means for Chloe and for you.
Max, try to find the light for the pool. I want to see the sharks.
Otters don't like sharks. They bite.
So do I. Hit that light.
We've done the same with the swimming pool, for example. We've got a great scene in the swimming pool between Max and Chloe when they are alone during the night, and after you got this huge vortex party, which is a really different atmosphere. So this is kind of...
On the production point of view, it's basically a brand new environment, but it's still in the same place and with a lot of similarities. So it's really important to show. It was important for us to show the changes that Max can create with her power and the changes to the characters and to the world.
Stop treating me and my mom like we're your family platoon!
Hey! Leave Joyce out of this!
I wish you'd leave Joyce! Like now!
Seeing this kind of family violence, and it's something you can have encountered as a player. I think we all know some people who got some difficulties, and you can have by yourself also. Here, the choice you're going to take will have consequences on the relation between Max and Chloe, but also on her father.
Hey, you okay?
Welcome to the real step douches of Arcadia Bay.
I'm sorry.
For what? He would have been a bigger dick if he caught you in here.
David could seem very archetypal
Yes,
and
again, one dimension at the beginning, but then we are making
episode
him
after
evolve.
episode, you can see that maybe he's very he's got his own reason to be
his own
like
issues.
this.
And I think not at any moment we are justifying the fact that he could beat Chloe or be how it is, but just showing a perspective that not everything is black or white. So we did a lot of research to be sure that we were dealing with those themes in a good way. Too much gamifying this, we could really maybe hurt some people, and if we are talking about issues those people have had and not making it right, it could be worse, and it couldn't be the opposite of what we wanted to do at first.
So here is a Kate character that you have met in the first episode, but not so much. And the episode 2 is really focused on Kate and Kate's story and Kate's difficulties. So,
but this scene is a good way again to how we try to advance the story about Kate, but also try to show more of the other characters, Victoria and Taylor. So we are continuing of what was shown about Victoria in episode 1, like of course that she's really a mean person, that she's harassing Kate because she makes fun of her. And so this kind of scene, yes, is we are really trying to advance the story, bring out more of the characters, and of course there is great cameras on it.
All over my face. Max Selfie thought she was a badass taking that picture.
We wanted really to talk about all the cyberbullying, the fact that it's quite difficult for a teenager nowadays to be connected as everyone is now. I think everyone has got a phone, is connected always.
We are using the text message a lot, and we are making fun with that. So we are really thinking about both sides of the social media.
On the other hand, you've got this dark aspect of internet, which could be really difficult to live. I think a lot of players could recognize some of them inside Kate, and we've received a lot of letters from players who say that help us also to realize what they've been through. Yeah, we wanted to have this scene since the beginning. We are quite happy that we managed to keep it, and work with Square Enix was great for that. We managed to keep a lot of difficult scenes like this one. It's not only about talking about those themes, it's also to be sure that it's anchored inside our story. And here, of course, this experience and the Kate story will push Max to think about her power, to think about the consequences, to think about the relation with other characters.
That's actually the one time in the game where Max's power fails her. So when you arrive on the roof, you are really by yourself. You have to talk Kate out of jumping, and this was also the second part of what we wanted to do with this theme, is to show that if you care to the people you like, you can help them, and that's basically what Max has to do at this moment, is really to care about Kate, to show her that she knows her, that she's her friend, and to really take out of jumping. I think that something that was interesting on writing all these scenes, and is even in episode 1, Kate was written as somehow as some type of archetype. She's a bit religious. She's for abstinence. She has this basically pro-life ideas. So maybe some of the players could think that she's boring character, but the way we evolved her and write her in the other episode, we really wanted to show that even if you go past the first appearance of someone, that's something that you might feel not interesting or different to you, you can find really good things and interesting things in each person. And I was really happy the way that the community reacted to Kate as a character.
We didn't want to gamify this kind of scene.
We still have to have rules for how the things, even if it needs to be really in the background and for the player to not to see those rules. But in the end, we still need to create the scene with the scripting and a way to make it work. So it was really hard to find the good balance to make it feel the more transparent as possible for the player, and just find a good way to have the feeling that it's really a dialogue between Max and Kate. And It was a really hard one to write. There is a lot of branches, there's a lot of variations, and I think even in the voice recording, it took a really long time.
Yeah.
It was one full session just for Hannah and Diane who play skate. It was really important for us to keep this going after in the other episode, and not just okay, we have done the scene and so no, we go to the following of the game.
I'm going to be here for another day until my family comes out to visit.
How are they treating you?
Like they need to protect me forever. They're so upset, and I know they feel guilty even though they didn't do anything. I was surprised how many
We wanted
students from
to
Blackwell
talk about
wrote
this
me.
theme of euthanasia,
Even
but
Victoria
to
wrote
find a
me.
way to talk about it that would be respectful for any sort of position, because it was really important to not try to say this is right, this is wrong, and to let the player really see how he wants to play this scene at this moment based on what he felt for the situations, for Chloe, for her parents and everything. And that was that was not easy to find this balance when doing that.
And again, it's because it's interactive and it's a video game that this scene is so strong. I think if you just see a scene and just okay, this is the director point of view and that's it, I accept it or not. But here it will be your choice. You really have to take your time and think about it before making your choice. So
and we've seen all kind of reactions. We've seen players who immediately say, no, I can't do it. Or other players who immediately accept what Chloe is asking. Of course, it's Chloe, I'm accepting. And a lot of others were hesitating for 5-10 minutes or so. And I think that we've been, I like that we did that, but we've been a bit mean to the player because we give them a third choice of maybe I cannot take any choice on this, but then you have still to take a choice.
Yeah.
But I think it was strong because it was what we wanted to do with that is to show that at a point you have to take responsibility for your actions and decide something. You cannot get an easy way out.